예, 안녕하십니까. 오늘은 인공지능은 어떤 미래를 만들까라는 주제로 깊이 있는 이야기를 나눠볼까 합니다. 두 번째 주제로 넘어가야 될 시간입니다. 두 번째 주제는 인공지능과 경제를 어떻게 발전시킬까라는 것입니다. 사실 인공지능이 지금 경제를 많이 변화시킬 것 같다는 생각이 드는데 어떤 방식으로 발전시키고 변화시켜 나갈지에 대한 것은 조금 막연한 부분이 있거든요.
I think we are on the topic of economics. The global AI industry is expected to grow very rapidly. I think some are predicting like 30% per year. So AI technology have created this momentum for economic growth by stimulating gains on both the supply side and the demand side of the economy. So do you think that AI will have a positive impact on economic growth and development in general?
I hope so. We do have to be very careful about the competition policy because, again, you can have a lot of productivity gain. The question is, where does it go? And if it's all in the hands of a few firms, those firms often want to slow things down to increase profit rather than expand output as quickly as possible. And the profits and gains can accrue to in the hands of those who hold the keys to the secret technology.
효율의 측면에서 보자면 거대한 하나의 모델을 사용하는 게 개별 분야에 특화된 작은 모델을 쓰는 것보다 더 나을 수 있습니다. 그런데 빅테크 독점의 관점에서 보자면 여러 개의 소형 모델을 채택하는 게 더 나을 수도 있다는 생각이 듭니다. 그러면 이 비용 효율성과 독점 사이에 그 균형을 어떻게 잡을 수 있을까요?
Well, monopoly is never very good. It's often not good for innovation, and it's not good for prices and growth. But if you have enough competition at the foundation level, I think there's again lots of opportunity for competition at the next level. And so I'm like cautiously optimistic that there would be competition here. Yet we still have to watch very closely because, of course, there's a lot of money in having market power, and the firms that possibly can get it will certainly do everything they can to maintain it. So
I want to ask more directly, like, should we regulate those tech firms that are monopolizing and dominating the industry?
So one thing to be very careful about in thinking about AI is if you say the word regulate, that means different things to different people. So actually some of the firms with the most market power, leading market positions in AI, are actually very much in favor of certain kinds of regulation. So, putting lots of restrictions on what the AI does or where it gets its data is beneficial if you're ahead, because it means it's hard for anybody to catch up. A brand new startup now has to deal with lots of layers of regulation in order to comply, and so investors don't want to spend the money to build a potential competitor. So that kind of regulation can be bad for monopoly and bad for competition. And of course, AI is scary. There are really scary things that AI can do. So scaremongering can work because it's true that AI can be used for many harmful things. But on the other hand, if you want to preserve competition, you want to be very careful not to have too much regulation that creates barriers to entry.
Oh, I think, it's actually surprising that like some big tech firms were in favor of those regulations.
And I say there was a long history of this, right? Like in banking, many big banks are perfectly happy to have lots of regulation because that creates barriers to entry. So most industries, in fact, have that concern. One of our big priorities when I was in the Biden administration was trying to improve competitiveness across all branches of government. It was called the whole of government approach. And we, in fact, looked into all the sectors, transportation, agriculture, defense, finance, to make sure that the regulations there were not interfering with competition. But those are all very important, but I think AI, we're at this moment, this critical fork in the road where we could have a very competitive industry. And so that seems to be the most urgent priority to consider that trade-off.
세 분 대화가 굉장히 흥미로웠습니다. 오늘 얘기 나눠주신 세 분 다시 한번 감사드립니다. 수고하셨습니다.